Okay, in this video, we're going to be talking about the Unit 4 Quiz 1 review. A lot of it we have already done several times in the past, so a lot of this is not going to spend, I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over the nitty-gritty of everything, but we'll just try to go as fast as we can. All right, first one here, we are trying to graph this equation. So obviously, it's not in y equals mx plus b format, so that's what I would do. So I'm going to put the equation into something that looks like y is equal to mx plus b. That's one way to do it, and that's the way I'm going to do it. All right, so first off, I know that the x needs to go over here, so that's going to be 5y is equal to negative x plus 20, and then I'm going to divide by 5, all right? So y becomes y. All right, so this negative x will become negative 1 over 5x. We've done that before. You should know that. Plus 4. All right, so plus 4 is right there. And then that slope being negative 5, oh, I'm sorry, negative 1 means I'm going to go down 1 to the left 5. So down 1 and then left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go right there. And we're going to draw our line. All right, that's how we do it. Next, all right, so I think that it says, or determine the equation of the line. All right, so determining the equation of the line, let's see, the 2 points that it goes through this point, it also goes through this point here. Now, I know it goes through 4, so it's going to be y is equal to something x plus 4, but we need to know our slope. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, we're up 7, and then we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so it's 7 over 4. There we go. All right, so sketch the graph of the linear equality and then shade accordingly. So for this one here, negative 2x plus 2. So plus 2 is where I'm starting, and it's negative 2. So that means negative 2 over 1. That means down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. All right, there's our line. And obviously, with your straight ruler, you would draw a solid line because of the symbol being less than or equal to. All right, so now it's time for us to practice, or not practice, but test. All right, so we test. I always like using 0, 0 just because that is a point that's not on the line. So 0, 0, I'm going to take y, plug it into there. I'm going to take 0, plug it in there. So that ends up being 0 less than or equal to negative 2 times 0 plus 2. Let's see. That will all 0 out. So is 0 less than positive 2? The answer is yes, it is. All right, so that makes a true statement. So that means all points to the left of the line is going to work. So I'm going to shade to the left. All right, so number 4 here. Now on your uh, test review or quiz review, I'm sorry, it should already be graphed. So let me go ahead and graph it real quick. I went ahead and put the lines on for you just to make life a little easier. So I think it goes this way. And then the other one is going to be, let's see, negative 3. Let's see, negative 3 down to, oop, I screwed up. Hold on, that first one I screwed up. And you're probably shouting at the screen right now. Let's see, went through there. We had to reverse it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. All right, there you go. That's it. And then the other one, negative 3, negative 2. Sorry, I should easily just pause it, but I should easily just pause this video. I'm not going to. I think it looks like that. All right, we'll just go with that. All right, so if you remember, what you're doing is you are testing everything. You're testing all the sides. So you got to choose a point that's on the right-hand side. I'm just going to choose this one right here. So this is 0, 0. And I'm going to, plug in 0 in for x, plug 0 in for y to see if it makes a true statement. So 0 is greater than negative 2 times 0 minus 3. Now, obviously, that'll all 0 out. So is 0 greater than negative 3? The answer is yes, it is. All right, so let's try it in for the other one. So 0 less than or equal to 4 times 0 plus 3. Again, 4 times 0 will 0 out. So is 0 less than 3? The answer is yes. Oh, it actually worked out both. So if you ever have a situation where they both are the same, you are going to graph on that side. So I am going to graph on this side. There we go. Look at that. That turned a very long problem into nothing. All right, so solve each equation by graphing. So very simply, we're going to start at positive 2. And again, you guys know how to do this at this point. Positive 2. Oh, I can't go up 4, so I'm going to reverse everything. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And what I'm looking for is where these two lines intersect. So the other one is starting at negative 3 and then down 1 over 3. Right here. Something like there. There we go. And where they intersect is where I'm going. Oh, that's where it intersects. So my answer is going to be negative 3, negative 2. There's my answer. All right, so solve each equation through algebra. So first thing we got to do is we've got to move the 6 over. Minus 6 minus 6. 8x is equal to negative 120. And of course, we're going to divide by 8 because that's what we do when we have a number and letter together. I believe that's going to be 15, negative 15. All right. So question 7. All right. First off, like we said in class, that is a fraction. Can't mess with that yet. So I'm going to move this 2 over. So minus 2 minus 2. That is n over 5 is equal to negative 4. Now this denominator of 5 means I'm dividing, which means I have to multiply to get rid of it. So that crosses out. N is equal to negative 20. There you go. All right, question number 7, we are distributing. We're going to take 7 to both the 4x and the 2. So that will give me 28x plus 14 is equal to 126. All right, so this question was just like 6. Now that we've distributed, we're going to subtract 14. We're going to subtract 14. We're at 28x is equal to 112. All right, we're going to divide by 28. I think the answer is 3, so x is equal to 3. Now, with these type of equations, you don't have to guess if your answer is right. Here's what you do. You just take your answer and you just plug it back into x. And if it makes a true statement, meaning when I plug 3 into x, if it equals 126, then you're good to go. All right, so question number 9. Now, don't make this mistake by adding 5 and 8. You cannot add 5 and 8. That's not okay. So this 8 is attached to the parenthesis, which means you have to distribute first. So 5 plus 8x minus 48 is equal to negative 83. Now, how you do this at this point depends on your comfort level. I'm going to go ahead and combine 5 and negative 48. So when I do that, I get 8x minus 43 is equal to negative 83. And then I'm going to add 43, and I get 8x is equal to 40. Sorry, negative 40. Divide by 8, x is equal to, I know I'm writing all over here, so I apologize, negative 5. So for question number 10, you have a situation where now you're going to have some variables on both sides. First thing we got to do is we have to distribute. We've got to take the 7, distribute. So we're at negative 8 plus 3n is equal to 7n minus 28. So we have an n on the left-hand side and we have an n on the right-hand side. All right, you've got to decide where do you want to put your n. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little barrier here just to show the difference between the left and right-hand side. So I'm going to put all of my n's on that side. So I'm going to subtract 3n, subtract 3n. This cancels out. Which means the negative 28 needs to go over here. So I'm going to add 28, which means all of this goes away. All right. So now I just combine what's on each side. So this ends up being 20 is equal to positive 4n. Divide by 4, n is equal to 5. All right. Let's look at 11. Again, we're going to distribute. We're at 15k plus 6 plus 6 is equal to negative 30 minus 6k. All right. Now, again, we have a k on the left-hand side, k on the right-hand side. Let me, again, draw my line just to show the difference between the two sides. It might be a little elementary, but it's visual. So I'm going to take the k's and I'm going to throw it over here, which means I have to add 6k, which will cancel that out, which I need to add 6k. All right. Now, this 6 plus 6 right here, I'm going to go ahead and combine that. So I'm going to do one more step. So that turns into 21k plus 12 is equal to negative 30. All right. So I'm going to take this k, throw it over here, which means I have to subtract 12. That'll cancel this out. Subtract 12. So now we're at 21k is equal to negative 42. Divide by 21, and k is equal to negative 2. There you go. Okay, so now we are dealing with stuff that we've dealt with for several weeks now. I'm going to try to breeze through this as quickly as possible so I don't make this into a 30-minute long video. All right, so what we have is the 7th hour is this. So A of 7 is equal to 1458. And then we have A of 12, which is equal to 354,294. All right, first thing we're going to do, we're going to take our later term divided by our earlier term. All right, again, we know how to do this. I'm speeding up. All right, so 35,294 divided by 1458, and I'm going to take the root. Now, if you're someone who doesn't know how to do this, at this point in time in the semester, you have to ask. All right, you have to ask at this point because we're beyond that point now. All right, what is the ratio? My ratio is 3. Okay, how do you find the first term? All right, so a lot of y'all still are having a little bit of trouble finding the first term. So remember the formula is A of n is equal to something, parentheses something, to the n minus 1 power. We already know the ratio is 3. We already found that. We're looking for our first term. 1458 is going for A of n, 7 is going there. So 1458 is equal to x parentheses 3 to the 7 minus 1 power. Well, when I do all of this, 1458 is going to equal to 729x. When I divide by 729, my first term ends up being 2. All right? So I'm just going to put it over there. So what is the explicit formula? The explicit formula is 2 parentheses 3 to the n minus 1 power. How many cells by hour 15? Take 15, plug it there. All right, so 2 times 3 to the 15 minus 1 power. And we're going to get a big number because it's geometric. 956. I think 9 million. I haven't put my commas in yet. Yep, 9,565,938. Okay, so Logan's logging, right? So I'm going to go ahead and erase this. If you need to see it again, just go back and watch the video. All right, 3 trees, 902. So A of 3 is 902.50. And then 12 trees, A of 12 is 568.80. All right, so we got to find the R. Now remember, I specifically put this in there so you'd get a decimal. So remember, the later term divided by the earlier term. And some of you guys are having trouble with this, so I want to make sure we're good. The later term is actually the smaller term. Sometimes it happens. All right, so 568.8 divided by 902.5. You're going to get an ugly decimal. All right, your decimal is going to be 0.6302449. It just kind of keeps going. Now, so at this stage, a lot of students ask me, how many numbers do I need to put? I say as many as possible. Do at least 6. The more you have, the more accurate your answer is. All right, so this is the 3rd term, this is the 12th term, and so that is the 9th term. So the 9th root of 6302449 0.630249, and you're going to get 0.9259453. Let's see. I'm going to try that one more time. I'm going to pause the video. I should have used more decimals. Technically, the answer should have been 0.95. That's what it should have rounded to. All right. And I know that obviously what I just calculated doesn't add up to 95, but this is one of those little weird ones here. So if you were to gotten something like this, you would round it to 0.93. But this is where I kind of give you guys a little bit of leeway when it comes to rounding. All right. So we've got to find our first term. I'm going to use the third term, and once we find our r, everything else pretty much is just like the last question. Something parentheses something to the n minus one. We know that our r is now 0.95. We're looking for x. We're going to take 902, plug it there. Take 3, plug it there. So 902.5 is equal to x, parentheses 0.95 to the 3 minus 1 power. I'm going to go ahead and do all of this right here. So 0.95. 902.5 is equal to 0.9025x divided by 0.902.5. I bet you get x equal to 1,000. All right, so what is first term? 1,000. What's my formula? 1,000, parentheses 0.95 to the n minus 1. What would be the 20th? Just take 20, plug it there. All right, let's do this real quick. Let's see. 377.35. There we go. All right, so John bought a car of 70,000. Depreciation rate is 12%. So what we have is the first term is the price of the car. Super easy. Now, 12%, we write off to the side, 12%, and we're decreasing. So remember, you always subtract it from 100, it's 0.88. So what's the formula? 70,000, 0.88, n minus 1. All right, so how many years will it take? This is guess and check, okay? So this is guess and check. How many years will it take for the car to be worth? I am not going to spend time guessing and checking. If you don't know how to do this at this point in time, you need to come to and see me individually, okay? The answer, let's see, is messed up here. It looks like we're definitely going to be in the double digits. Less than 6,000. All right. That would be 2021. 2221. What is the principal? Okay, so question 15. First off, the principal. How much they invest? $10,000. I need room to write, so I'm going to erase this. All right. It says how much money is in the account in the balance. All right. So guys, a lot of people are kind of screwed up on this. Okay. It says compounded weekly. The formula is B is equal to P parenthesis 1 plus R over N parenthesis NT. Guys, because of the fact that it starts with a B, that means it's the balance. All right, so whatever your calculator gives you, put it in the balance. So 10,000 parenthesis 1 plus the R 0.0156 over, it says weekly, which is 52 parenthesis 52 times 20. There's no room to write on this thing. All right, so 10,000 parenthesis 1 plus 0.01156 divided by 52. I'm doing this very fast, so I hope it's going to work out. So it ends up being 13,661. So if I started with 10,000, I now have 13,000. How much did I make? Well, I made 3,661. All right. Question 16. P was 18-year-old. He invested. Here we go. Simple interest. Now, the simple interest formula is I is equal to PRT. Now, guys, again, the formula starts with an I, so that means I'm going to get the interest when I press enter. So what is the principal? It's how much I started with. So I started with 20,000. All right. The formula is I is equal to 20,000. Parenthesis 0.0289. Let's see, it started when it was 18, now he's 50. That's a 32-year difference. So 20,000, 289 times 32. All right, 18,496. So if I started with 20,000, I made 18,000. How much do I have now? 38,000 because I added the two up. All right, when Sam was 20 years old, he invested 25,000. That's our principal. All right, I need some room to write, so let me erase this. All right, it says compounded continuously, so that is the P is equal to that P. My bad. It is the B is equal to PERT. Now again, notice guys, the formula started with B, so that means I'm going to get the balance when I press enter. So 25,000 little e caret 0.0189. How many years? Started when he was 20, now he's 50, so times 30. So 25,000 0.0189 times 30. How much was in the account? 44,074. So he started with 25,000. He now has 44,000. How much did he increase? Well, simple subtraction problem. There we go. And we're done. 19,074. I think that's it. That is it. So hopefully you learned something. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.